Have you broken trust with your partner? I'm going to talk to you about how to fix trust issues in your relationship, and I'm going to walk you through the process it's going to take. Rebuilding trust can be challenging. I've seen relationships decimated by deceit and betrayal and manipulation. And in those times, one or the other partner might think, there's no way that I can ever trust that person again. I've seen couples in those situations, and I've seen them rebuild from the ground up and to start to trust each other again. But it's a process, and you need to understand the process to engage in it and to make it work for you. And I'm going to show you what that process is in this video. Step one of the process is some space for healing. So the behavior that has broken the trust needs to stop. If you're manipulating, if you're cheating, if you're lying, that needs to stop, and you need to have some patience for your partner to take some space from you possibly, and allow them to take that space just to get the ground under their feet a little bit, to feel safe enough to start to engage in the trust building process with you. The second thing that you need to do is to take accountability for the broken trust. Don't minimize what's happened. Don't lie about what's happened. Don't try to turn the tables back on your partner and blame them for what has happened, but own it. Because if you don't own it, then it's going to feel like you're not going to change and you're going to hurt them again. So take accountability for what you've done to break the trust. The next thing that is important is that you have a desire to change. And it's not coming from your partner. So that means that it comes from your heart. You're proactive in your own work to shift who you are so that you don't make those mistakes anymore. If you want to change because your partner's hurting and because your partner might be threatening divorce or threatening other consequences, but you really internally don't want it, then you're not going to do what it takes to actually make the changes that you need to make to be a trustworthy partner. So find it within yourself. Find that self-determination. Be proactive in your own work and find that motivation so that you can create the shifts that you want to create so that you don't hurt your partner anymore. I am an expert on trust, and I can help you rebuild trust with your partner. So you're going to want to subscribe to my channel. And if you find this video helpful, please remember to like it. Now that you've allowed your partner to have some space, you've taken accountability for what you've done, you've found some motivation to change, the next step is to have patience and empathy for your partner's hurt and pain. If you have betrayed them, if you've manipulated them, then it's going to take them some time to actually realize that you've changed. And they might think some things about you that aren't true, but that's just them trying to protect themselves from getting hurt again. And if you step in there and you say, why don't you trust me yet? Like, when are you finally going to give me a chance? What that does is pushes them further away. But when you step in there with empathy to their pain, when you step in there with empathy to their fear, it's going to connect you to them, and they're going to realize, wow, they really don't want to hurt me anymore. They actually do care about how I'm feeling. The fifth thing that's really important is that you stay rigorously honest despite consequences in your relationship. So what I mean by that is, even when it's hard, be an honest person. You don't have to be a perfect person to rebuild trust in the relationship. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to tell some little white lies or do some things that aren't the best for the relationship. But it's important that overall your heart wants to be honest. You want to work toward being as honest as you possibly can be, as much as you possibly can be. That is so important to build trust. You'll never have trust without honesty. Sixth is you've got to stay consistent. If you're honest for a week, that's great. But if you're not honest after that and you go back to your old ways, that's not going to build trust. So over time, being consistent with your self-determination, with your patience and empathy, with your honesty in the relationship is going to start to build trust in the relationship. Simon Sinek talks about, how do you know when somebody loves you? And you don't just wake up one day and it's like, hey, they love me. But over time, you start to realize it. And it's a day in and day out thing. Now, when couples come in for therapy and they want help, they want the trust to get fixed immediately. because it's painful to be in a relationship where there's not trust. But that's not how it works. Building trust is a process, and it takes time, and it takes consistency. And what Simon Sinek says is, day in and day out, you look at it and you can't really see the results. But when you look back on it, you realize, I do trust them. We do have a connection there that actually works with safety and trust now. So stick to these things over time. Don't try to be perfect, but try to be as honest, consistent, and empathetic as you possibly can be, and you will build trust again in your relationship. I want to tell you one thing, and that's that you don't have full control over whether or not you're going to have trust in your relationship or not. There's two people in your relationship, and your partner may choose to never be vulnerable with you again. And if they don't want to be vulnerable with you again, then they'll never know whether you're a trustworthy person or not. Now, I'm not telling you this to discourage you or to tell you that there's no hope, because there's a lot of hope. But there's a guarantee here. And what that guarantee is if you work to be an honest person, a consistent person, an empathetic person, then you're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better partner, and you're going to be available to create love in your life. So do what's in your control and hope that your partner will get vulnerable with you again so that you can build trust in your relationship. If you like this video about trust, then you're going to want to check out my other video, What Does It Mean to Feel Safe in a Relationship? And I give even more tools and expertise on safety in a relationship there. So go check it out.